A very good morning to all the students. This video for the class 7th, subject science, chapter number 6, that is physical and chemical changes. This is your lecture number 6. In today's lecture, we will be covering the summary part of this chapter number 6. So, let's start with the first topic. Chapter is changes around us. And the second topic is physical changes. And the third one is example of physical changes. Fourth one is reversible and irreversible changes. Next, so the next topic is to differentiate the reversible and irreversible changes. Next we have the chemical changes. The last one is example of chemical changes. So let's start with the first topic, that is changes around us. As you can see here in this topic, the number of changes keeps occurring around us all the time. Some of these changes are natural and some of these are artificially. Artificially changes are those changes that are created by us, and the natural changes are those that is created by nature. So these changes is in their size, in their shape, in their state, in their smell, or change in their chemical combination. For example, burning of a paper, boiling of water, or cutting of a paper. Next, moving on, the second topic of this chapter, that is physical changes. Or what do you understand by the physical changes? And physical change is nothing, is just a change in a physical properties of a substance, like change in their size, change in their shape, change in their state, change in their color or temperature, texture or volume. It is said to be a physical change. And physical change, no new substance is formed here. And physical changes, these are maybe or may not be reversible change. Physical change occurs only when the state of a substance changes. So the next topic that we have is example of physical changes. These are some example of physical changes that we are going to discuss in detail one by one. So the first example is melting of ice. The second example is drying of wet clothes. The third one is cutting a paper. The fourth example is crushing of a chalk into a powder form. And the last one is heating of food. So let's start with the first example of physical change, that is melting of ice. Ice converting into liquid form. So the physical property that changes here is state of water from solid to liquid. As you can see here, this is your ice, and ice gets converted into water. So the ice is in a solid form. So the solid state gets converted into a liquid state. So this is a physical property that changes here. So the next example is drying of wet clothes. In a drying of wet clothes, the physical property that changes here is the state of water from liquid to water vapor. In the shirts, in the wet clothes, or you can say in a wet shirt, there's a liquid present. So this liquid evaporates into the atmosphere. Then this liquid converted into the water vapor. So the physical property changes. So changes in the states of a water here. So this is also a physical property or a physical change. The third example is cutting of a paper. In a cutting of a paper, we can change the shape and the size of the paper. We can only change the shape and the size of the paper, but from these cutting of the paper, we cannot make the original one from these small part of the paper. Okay, this is also a physical property, change in the shape and change in their size. So the next example is crushing of chalk into powdered form. Here the physical property that changes is forms of chalk. You had already done this activities about the chalk stick into converting the chalk stick into a chalk dust. Here the conversion of chalk stick into the chalk dust and back to the chalk sticks are the physical changes. Also, these physical changes are reversible changes. Next, the fifth example is heating of food. In the heating of foods, the temperature of the foods changes. When the temperature changing, it's a physical property. Changing in temperature is a physical property. So, this is also an example of physical change. Next, moving on our fourth topic, that is reversible and irreversible change. In reversible change, it can be reversed or temporary conversion are reversible changes. The reactions that are reversible reactions. In such kind of reactions, one substance is modified into another form, but a new compound is not formed. Okay? For example, water. When we put some water into the freezer or the refrigerator, it will turn into ice. And again, if we melt this ice, what will happen? This ice melts and change back into the original form, that is water. This is a reversible reaction. Next, we have the irreversible changes. In irreversible changes, when something cannot be changed back to its original form. In many irreversible changes, new materials and the new substance are formed. In irreversible reaction, this is an example of irreversible reaction, burning of a paper. For example, this is a paper and it's converted into ash. When we burn this paper, it cannot be reverted back to its original form. It can't be now. Once a piece of a paper has been burnt, so it can't be, we can't be used it for the writing and for the reading purpose. So this process is irreversible change. Next topic is to differentiate between the reversible and irreversible changes. In reversible changes, a substance can return to its original state, but in irreversible change, it cannot return to its original state. In the reversible changes, the chemical properties of the substance do not change, or the chemical properties of a substance in irreversible changes is changed. Reversible process, mostly physical changes are reversible and all the chemical changes are irreversible. Now let us take a look at the sixth topic, that is chemical changes. Chemical changes are those changes in which the new substance is formed and the original substance loses its properties, are called as chemical changes. During a chemical change, the original substance is lost and a new substance is formed. When this new substance is formed, there is some energy is evolved or released and some energy is absorbed. Chemical changes are generally irreversible changes. In chemical reaction, the substance which undergoes a change are called as reactants and the new substance that is formed are products. So the last topic of this chapter, that is example of chemical changes. So the first example of chemical change is burning of a paper. In chemical changes, always a new substance is formed. Here in the burning of a paper, there is a ash is a new substance that is formed and some carbon dioxide is also released when we burning this paper. Next example is cooking of food with different ingredients. Here the new substance is a dish. A cooked dish, that was a new substance formed. Third example is composting of leaves. When we composting these leaves, a new substance is formed, that is manure. Manure is a natural fertilizer. The fourth one is photosynthesis by plants. Here the new substance that is formed is food formation in plants. Photosynthesis helps to make the food, that they can utilize that food, plant can utilize that food and growth, for the growth. Rusting of iron. Here the brown colored rust is on the iron piece. That the brown color rust is a new substance that is formed. At last we have the bursting of firecrackers. When we burst the firecracker, some light and gas is released. So in chemical reactions or in a chemical changes, always a new substance is formed. So this is it about this topic, that is pretext activity. We have the 4 activity here that we are going to cover in this video one by one. Next is rusting of iron. So let's start with the first topic, pretext activity, or the first activity, that is 6.5. So the material required for this activity are hacksaw blade, a pair of tongs and a gas stove. So the procedure of this activity is, first hold a used hacksaw blade with a pair of tongs, then keep the tip of the free end of the blade on the gas stove, then wait for a few minutes. So the question that is arising here, does the color of the tip of the blade changes? Then remove the blade from the flame, and again the question is arising here, observe the tip once again. So the observations are, the color of the blade changes if you heat one end of the hacksaw blade over the flame, then the tip of the blade become red hot. Okay. So and the second question is, if you remove it from the flame after some time, what will happen? Then when the blade removed from the flame, then the color of the blade gets back to the normal, or it's changed into a gray color, its original form. So heating of a hacksaw blade is a physical change which can be reversed easily. Moving on, our next activity, that is activity 6.6. So the material required for this activity are thin strip of a magnesium or a ribbon of magnesium, flame, sandpaper, water or litmus paper. So the procedure is, first get a small piece of a thin strip or a ribbon of magnesium, then clean it tip with a sandpaper, then bring the tip near the flame. It burns with a brilliant white light. When it's completely burnt, it leaves behind a powdery ash. So the question is, does the ash look like the magnesium ribbon? So the change can be represented by this equation. When the magnesium reacts with oxygen, this oxygen is present in the atmosphere, so it's form a magnesium oxide. This magnesium oxide is nothing, it's just a powdery ash. Okay, as you can see in this picture, when we heat this magnesium ribbon, then it burns the brilliant white light. Okay, so the observation is, yes, the powdery ash called as magnesium oxide, this is a new substance that is formed here, so it's a chemical change. Then collect the ash or a powdery ash and mix it with a small amount of water. Then stir the mixture as well. Then test the mixture with the blue and the red litmus paper. So the question that is, does the mixture turns red litmus into the blue, or does the mixture turn blue litmus into red? So the observation is, when the ash is dissolved in water, it's form a new substance, that is magnesium hydroxide. So the equation is here, the change can be written in the form of following equation. The magnesium oxide, it's a ash, powdery ash. When it's react with water, it form a magnesium hydroxide. So the change is chemical. So the question that is arising here from this activity is, does the mixture turn red litmus into blue, or does the mixture turn blue litmus into red color? So the observation of this question is, red litmus turns into the blue color, but blue litmus remains unchanged, because the red litmus turns blue under the basic conditions, but blue litmus turns into red under the acidic condition. But here the new substance that is formed is magnesium hydroxide, is a base, so the blue litmus remain unchanged. Conclusion is, magnesium hydroxide is a base. Moving on, next activity, that is activity 6.7. So the material required for this activity are copper sulfate, sulfuric acid, or a nail. So the procedure for this activity is, first dissolve about a teaspoon of a copper sulfate or blue vitriol in about half of a cup of water or in a glass tumbler. Then add a few drops of a dilute sulfuric acid to the solution. Then you should get a blue colored solution. Then save a small sample of the solution in a test tube or a small glass bottle. Then drop a iron nail or a used shaving blade into the remaining solution. Then wait for a half an hour. Then observe the color of the solution. Compare it with the color of the sample solution and saved separately. So the color of the solution from the blue to green is due to the formation of iron sulfate. That is a new substance formed here. So the brown deposit on the iron nail is copper. That is another new substance. We can write this reaction as a, when the copper sulfate solution, that is a blue color, reacts with the iron or a nail, it forms a product, that is iron sulfate solution, that is in a green color, plus copper is also produced, that is brown deposit. So the brown deposit that is present on the iron nail is a copper, that is a new substance that is formed here. Okay. So the observation for this activity, the color of the solution changes into the green color after half an hour. Then iron has a brown deposit on it. So the conclusion of this activity is, the copper sulfate and iron react to form a new substance, that is iron sulfate. So the iron gets the brown deposit on it and a new substance is formed. As you can see here, when the sulfuric acid, few drop of sulfuric acid into the copper sulfate, then a blue colored copper sulfate solution is formed. Then put an iron nail in this copper sulfate solution and observe them. So the color of the solution changes from blue to green. Then a brown colored deposit on the iron nail. Okay, so the iron sulfate and the copper metal deposit, so both are the new substance. So it's a chemical change. Moving on our next activity, that is activity 6.8. So the material required for this activity are, you need to take vinegar, baking soda and a test tube. So the procedure for performing this activity is, first we have to take a tablespoon of vinegar in a test tube, then add a pinch of baking soda into it. Then you would hear a hissing sound and see the bubbles of a gas coming out. Then pass this gas through the freshly prepared lime water. What will happen to the lime water? So the change in the test tube is as follows. Here, when we add the vinegar into a baking soda, so the carbon dioxide and other substances are formed. As you can see here, when we take the teaspoon of vinegar in a test tube and add a baking soda into it, you would hear a hissing sound and see the bubbles of a gas coming out. These bubbles and hissing sound came from this carbon dioxide that is formed here. Okay? When the vinegar reacts with baking soda, it's formed carbon dioxide and some other substances. Okay. Now we will see that when we pass this gas through the freshly prepared lime water, what will happen to the lime water? When we pass this carbon dioxide through the freshly prepared lime water, then what happens? This carbon dioxide reacts with the lime water. Carbon dioxide CO2. The formula for the lime water is CaOH2. Its form, a calcium carbonate plus water molecules are also formed. When the carbon dioxide reacts with the lime water, it forms a calcium carbonate. Okay. As you can see here, when the carbon dioxide is passed through the lime water, calcium carbonate is formed, which makes lime water milky. That is rusting of iron. Rusting is a chemical change that takes place when iron metal come in contact with air and water, or we can say a damp air. During this chemical change, a new substance is formed, that is iron oxide, which is commonly known as rust. So the rust can be represented by this equation. When the iron reacts with the oxygen, this oxygen present in the atmosphere, and the water, it form a iron oxide. The reddish brown layer on the iron, that is the iron oxide. Then for rusting, both oxygen and water are essential. Rusting is an undesirable change which slowly eats away the iron object and make it useless. The rusting of iron is faster in the coastal region because the air in these areas contains more water vapor. So the salt in the water also make the process of rust formation faster in the coastal region. So the iron object kept in the sea water rust very fast. Okay. So the ships are made up of iron. You all know that ships are made up of iron, and since most the part of the ship stay under the sea water, so it's rust very quick. Rusting. We had already discussed about the rusting. What is rusting? Rusting is a chemical change that takes place when iron metal come in contact with air and water. Okay. So the iron reacts with the oxygen and water, form a iron oxide. So here are the methods to prevent the rust. Rusting can be prevented by the following methods. So the first method is painting or greasing. Apply a layer of paint or grease, prevent the iron surface from coming in contact with air and water vapor. Thus, it prevents rusting. Window grills, for example, iron furniture and the iron bits are painted, while iron tools and machine parts are greased with the oil. Okay. Second prevention is chrome plating and galvanization. The process of coating iron with a layer of chromium is known as chrome plating. Taps, bicycle handles and a car bumper are usually chrome plated. In the process of depositing a layer of a zinc or iron is called as galvanization. Iron pipes used at home to carry water are galvanized. There is an iron deposit or a zinc layer is deposited on the surface of the iron pipes, that is galvanized, or the process is galvanization. And one more thing, this chrome plating and the galvanization make the iron resistant to the action of air and the water vapor. Next is alloying. Alloying is the process of mixing one or more metals to form a new substance, that is called as alloying. Stainless steel is an alloy because it made by the mixing iron with the carbon and metals like chromium, nickel and manganese. So alloy do not rust at all because it is made up of different metals, chromium, nickel, manganese and other metals. Okay. So next we have, moving ahead on the other topic, that is crystallization. We learned in the class 6 that the salt can be obtained by evaporating the sea water. So the salt obtained in this manner is not pure and its crystals are very small. So crystallization is the process of cooling a hot concentrated solution of a substance to obtain crystals is called as crystallization. Or this crystallization process is a physical change. Here the no new substance is formed and it gets revert back to its original state. Okay. Note that the soluble impurities do not crystallize here and remains behind in the solution. Okay. But the impure common salt obtained from the sea water through the evaporation is also purified by the process of crystallization. Now we are going to perform this activity, the last activity of this chapter, that is activity 6.9. So what we have to do is to obtain the pure copper sulfate crystal from the copper sulfate powder. Materials required for this activity, we have to require a beaker, water, dilute sulfuric acid, burner and the copper sulfate powder. And the procedure of this activity is, first we have to take the water in a beaker and add a few drops of dilute sulfuric acid. Then boil this solution and add copper sulfate powder slowly while stirring continuously. Then continue adding the copper sulfate powder till no more powder can be dissolved. Then filter this solution and allow it to cool without disturbing it. Okay. The observation that we get, the larger copper sulfate crystal at the bottom of the beaker are formed. As you can see here, first we have to take the water in a beaker, then add a few drops of dilute sulfuric acid. Okay, then heat it on the burner and add the copper sulfate powder into this beaker slowly while stirring that continuously, and continue adding the copper sulfate powder till no more powder can be dissolved. After that you have to filter this solution and allow it to cool without disturbing it. Okay, as you can see here, we are in this picture filtering the solution by the filter paper. Then you will see the large copper sulfate crystal at the bottom of the bowl. These blue crystals are formed here. Now we will be discussing some NCERT question, exercise question on the page number 65. So the first question of the NCERT, that is, first question is, classify the changes involved in the following processes as physical or chemical changes. And photosynthesis. Is photosynthesis is a physical change or a chemical change? So the answer is there is a chemical change in the process of photosynthesis. Why it's a chemical change? Because photosynthesis is the process by which plants convert light energy and produce the carbon dioxide gas in this process. So this shows that there is a chemical change as it, because it produces a carbon dioxide gas in it. Okay, so the next part is dissolving the sugar in water. So the answer is there is a physical change in this process of dissolving sugar in the water, because when the sugar dissolved in water, there is a change, but no new substance is formed. Elements or compounds are formed. This shows that there is a physical change in dissolving sugar in water. Moving on, the third part of this question, burning of coal. Answer is there is a chemical change in this process of burning of coal, because when the coal is burnt, it releases mainly carbon dioxide and produce ash after burning, which forms a new compound and evolved gases. This shows there is a chemical change in it. Okay. Next, fourth part of this question is melting of wax. So the answer is there is a physical change in the process of melting of wax, because melting of wax means there is a change in their state from solid to liquid state. So it shows that there is a physical change in the melting of wax. Next is beating aluminium to make the aluminium foil. So the answer is physical change, because when the aluminium is hammered, there is a change in the shape, change in their size of the aluminium only. No new element or a substance is formed. So this shows that there is a physical change in it. Next is digestion of food. So the answer is digestion of food is a chemical change, because when the food that contains the organic acid digests it in a stomach, it forms acid that further forms a new acidic compound in it. If there is a presence of acid, so it's a chemical change. This shows that digestion of food is a chemical change. Okay, moving on, our second question, you have to tell the statement, whether the statement is true or false. State so the question is, cutting a log of woods into the pieces is a chemical change. Simply you have to write, is it a true or false? So the answer is, this statement is false, because cutting a log of wood into pieces is a physical change. Here no new substance is formed, so it's a physical change. Okay. Second question is, formation of manure from leaves is a physical change. So the answer is false. This given statement is false, because the process in the formation of manure from the leaves is a chemical change. Okay. Here new substance is formed, that is manure. The third part is iron pipes coated with zinc do not get rusted easily. The answer is true. Iron pipes coated with the zinc do not get rusted easily. Okay, because zinc being the very less reactive metal, and a layer of zinc is coated on the iron object that act as a protective layer, which does not allow the moisture to come in contact with this iron object. Okay, so it prevents from the rusting, and this process that preventing is galvanization. Next question is, iron and rust are the same substances? So the answer is, the given statement is false, because iron and the rust are different substances. Okay, because iron is an element and rust is a compound of iron. Moving on, our third question, filling the blanks in the following statement. So the first question is, when the carbon dioxide passes through the lime water, it turns milky due to the formation of calcium carbonate. Okay, because the calcium carbonate is also known as limestone. When the carbon dioxide passes through the lime water, it forms a calcium carbonate or limestone. Second, the chemical name of baking soda is, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Baking soda is used in the food item. It releases some carbon dioxide gas that make the food soft and fluffy. Next we have the third part is two methods by which rusting of iron can be prevented. First method is painting, and the second method is galvanization. Okay. Fourth part is changes in which only dash property of a substance changes are called physical changes. So changing in the physical property are physical changes. So here the change in which no new substance is formed are termed as physical changes. It change only its physical property such as shape, size of any substance, or change in the state of matter. Change in the state of matter like solid, change in the liquid, change in the state of a gas. Next is changes in which new substance are formed are chemical changes. Chemical changes are those changes which new substance is formed, and chemical changes are irreversible changes. So the first question is, when the baking soda is mixed with the lemon juice, bubbles are formed with the evolution of gas. What type of change is it? You have to explain this question. So the answer is, lemon juice contains mainly citric acid in it. When the baking soda reacts with the lemon juice, it forms sodium salt with the evolution of carbon dioxide gas. In it, new compound is formed, that is sodium salt. So it shows there is a chemical change in it. You can see here in this reaction, when the sodium carbonate reacts with the acid, it forms the sodium salt plus carbon. Start with the fifth question. So the question is, when a candle burns, both the physical and chemical changes takes place. So you have to identify these changes and give the another example of a familiar
process in which both the chemical and physical changes take place? So the answer is, when a candle burns, first there is a melting of wax. In it, there is a change in the state from solid to liquid state. So there is a physical change in the melting of wax. When the melting of wax formed, there is a no new substances formed. So it's a physical change. So at the same time, when a candle burns, there is a combustion that takes place and release some carbon dioxide gas. So that is chemical change. When the carbon dioxide gas is releases, so the new substance formed, that is a carbon dioxide. So it's a chemical change. When a candle, thus the candle burns, both physical and chemical changes takes place. And there are many other examples of process in which both the chemical and physical takes place. For example, digestion of food. Food is broken down into the smaller pieces and chewed with the help of teeth. It is a physical change. But when the food goes down and mix in a stomach that contains mainly hydrochloric acid and digests properly, so it's a presence of acid is a chemical change. Moving on, our sixth question, that is, how could you show that setting of a curd is a chemical change? So the answer is, when the baking soda added in the milk, it sets into curd, that is a new compound formed. Once it formed, it cannot be back into the milk. So it's a chemical change. Or the setting of curd is due to the bacteria growth that forms lactic acid in it. So this shows that it's a chemical change. And note that point, if the curd kept for the longer time, around 2 to 3 days, it becomes soft due to the presence of carbon dioxide that releases in the form of bubbles, and it becomes more sour in the taste. Moving on, our seventh question, that is, explain why the burning of wood and cutting into the small piece are considered as the two different type of changes. So the answer is, when there is a cutting of a wood into smaller pieces, there is a change in its shape, change in their size, no new substance are formed. So cutting of a wood is a physical change. This shows that there is a physical change in the cutting of wood. But when we burning this wood, when wood is burnt, it releases the carbon dioxide gas in the form of smoke and forms a new substance called coal. So forming a new substance is a chemical change. Okay, this shows that there is a chemical change in burning of a wood. Thus cutting of wood and burning of wood are considered to be the different changes, physical and chemical changes respectively. Next we have the question number 8. Describe how the crystals of a copper sulfate are prepared. Crystals of the copper sulfate are prepared by the method of crystallization. As you had already performed the activity 6.9 about the how to form the copper sulfate crystal by the method of crystallization. Okay, there are the following steps for preparation of the crystals of copper sulfate. what we have to do? First, take the water about in the beaker and heat that. Then add a few drop of dilute sulfuric acid and stir it. Then add the copper sulfate powder in that beaker and stir it. Then keep the beaker to cool down and undisturbed for a long time. Then after that we observe that a pure copper sulfate deposited in the form of a crystal and obtain its geometrical shape. So the process of obtaining a substance in a pure geometrical shaped crystal is termed as crystallization. So the process of obtaining a substance in a pure geometrically shaped crystal is termed as crystallization. Moving on our next question, that is question number 9. Explain how painting of an iron gate prevents it from rusting. So the answer is, paint or the oil are coated on the surface of rusting of an iron object. It acts as a protective layer that doesn't allow the moist air to come in a contact with the iron object. So thus it prevents from the rusting. So some oil or some the paint are coated on the surface of rusting of the iron object. So this paint or the oil act as a protective layer that is present on the surface of the iron. So it doesn't allow to moist air to come in contact with the iron object. So how it prevents? So from this method it prevents from rusting. Question number 10. Explain why rusting of iron object is faster in the coastal area than in the desert area. The answer is, the essential conditions for the rusting of iron are oxygen or the air that is present in our atmosphere, water, so the sea are the near to the coastal areas. So the presence of moisture in the air is very high. So increase the humidity. So iron object will rust easily at the faster rate at the coastal areas, because in coastal area the moisture level is high. But in the desert area the presence of moisture in the air is very low. So the explanation is, the sea are the near to the coastal area, so the presence of moisture in the air is very high and it increases the humidity. So the iron object will rust easily at the faster rate in the coastal areas. But in desert areas the presence of moisture in the air is very low. So the iron objects will rust at a slower rate in the desert area. So the question number 11 is, the gas we use in the kitchen is called as LPG gas or liquefied petroleum gas. In the cylinder it exists as a liquid. When it comes out from the cylinder, that is change A, and it become a gas. Then in turn, then it burns, that is change B. So the following statements pertains to these changes. You have to choose the correct statement. So the first statement is, process A is a chemical change, Process B is also a chemical change. Both the processes A and B are the chemical changes, or none of these processes is a chemical change. So the answer is option second. Process B is a chemical change. Correct statement, because when the LPG is burnt over stove, it comes in the form of flame and releases the carbon dioxide gas as it acts as a fuel. But in the first option, process A is a chemical change. How it's incorrect? Because LPG gas in the form of liquid in the pressurized cylinder, but it comes out in the form of gas. So there is a change in state from liquid to gas is a physical change. But in option first, process A is a chemical change is written. So that's why it's incorrect. Moving on, a last question of this video, question number 12. Anaerobic bacteria digest animal waste and produce biogas, that is change A. Then the biogas is then burnt as a fuel, that is change B. So the following statement pertains to these changes. Choose the correct statement. Process A is a chemical change. Process B is the chemical change. Both the processes A and B are the chemical changes. So none of these processes is a chemical change. So the option that is correct here is option third. Both the processes A and B are chemical changes, because when the animal waste comes out, there is a bacteria present in it and release out many gases, so it's act as a biofuel. Okay, so this shows that it's a chemical change. So answer is option number third. Both processes A and B are the chemical changes is the correct statement. Okay.
So this is your homework of lecture number 6. What you have to do, you have to solve this assignment that have been uploaded on the EdQuark site. You can check this assignment on the EdQuark site. Okay, then solve this assignment and send your homework up to 7 p.m. in the evening. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.